Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a while I posted. I sincerely apologize. I promise to do better as the day goes by. I've been really saddled with a lot of work on my shoulders. I do apologize and I'll try as much as possible to be uploading more videos. I do appreciate you guys who have constantly supported my channel by liking, sharing, and leaving comments. If this is your first time, please do leave me a comment, like the video, share, and ensure to click on the bell notification so that you will see my other videos that I'm going to post shortly. I want to talk to you about 5 key things to know about Microsoft 365. 5 key things. All right. So number one is license driven. So Microsoft 365 is basically license driven. And when we say license driven, it's broken down into different license subscription. All right. So we have the enterprise subscription, which has the E1, the E3, the E5. We have the education subscription, which has the A1, the A3, the A5. We have the business subscription, which has the basic, standard, and the premium. We also have the the F1 license, F3 license, and the F5 license. So these variation is as a result of different business capacities, right? So I always would tell clients not to um, drive for the purchase of subscriptions that will be so much for them in terms of cost. They could use other plans that is within their size, all right, and if they scale up, then they can increase. So that makes more sense. You understand me? So Microsoft 365 is heavily license driven. Many parts of the tenancy, all right, is license driven or license dependent. For example, the Teams now has a standalone license. Other packages or applications such as SharePoint also has a standalone license, uh, and so on. So it's license driven. You want as an admin to ensure that you have done your studies or you've done your research properly in knowing what is suitable for your organization. Please ensure you have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. You get my point? Good. Now, the second one is third party integration is really seamless in Microsoft 365. Yes, depending on the endpoints, and there is the beautiful interactions of third party integrations. You can even create your own app and make it available in the SharePoint store. We could also make it available in Microsoft Store. All right. So there are tons of applications that well integrate, with Microsoft 365 solution. All right. So whether it's cloud to cloud integration, all right, or on-premise to cloud, whichever the case may be, all right, just know that there is a very good integration when it comes to um, joining. Okay, perhaps you want your users to still continue the use of a particular application you are managing or you've deployed. Most are fully supported in terms of integrating with Microsoft 365 tenants. The third is security and compliance. Yes, Microsoft is heavily driven on compliance, all right? A very robust and rugged, um, design in protecting data governance, creating policies, right, that would enforce, all right, and ensure the security of both technology and humans as well, especially during the rise of phishing attacks, all right, that is happening globally. It's good that the admins pay keen attention to this part of Microsoft 365, ensuring that they have properly um, set up the right security measures and created the right compliance by process, depending on what process you're using. All right, it's very important. So, security and compliance, we can also set retention policies here to prevent accidental deletion. All right, so we can increase it. Microsoft even gives retention for up to 10 years, which is free, that comes with your subscription. As long as you have the proper license for security and compliance, where you can go and set what we call the data labels and data retention that can extend or secure and save your data for over 10 years, all right, which is 3,650 days. All right, the minimum is 30 days, which comes by default. It's very important that we know these as administrators on our tenancy. Okay, we also have hybrid integration. Hybrid integration. So speaking about hybrid integration, we simply see the the connection, the hybrid connection between on-premises and Microsoft 365 Cloud, where you're managing servers that could be running either maybe a database, service, or running a domain controller, or even users objects. So you can seamlessly integrate with Microsoft 365. If you're running like on a Windows server, for example, it's very seamless. Through AD Connect, you can ensure synchronization between your on-premises and your cloud solution. And then hierarchy model. I'm going to break this down for you guys. So the hierarchy model is something that I teach, all right, and it's my way of just making it simplified to understand the entire topology, all right, of the technology. The hierarchy model simply comes from a watered down approach or waterfall approach, that is from the top to the bottom, all right, in term of inheritance. So we have a concept in SharePoint where we call inheritance, where the child or grandchildren or of the parent inherits their similarities, features, permission levels, and metadata, etc. All right, so you, for example, will be asking, so where do I see this hierarchy model? Okay, so when a user is created, that is when a user object is created in Microsoft 365, that means the object is created on the cloud. If the user is also created on the on-premises and synchronizes the cloud, it's pretty much just the different places where you intend managing identity from. This user is expected by process or by default to log in to office.com on their own profile on their own machines. And when they log into office.com on their own machines, they basically have to change the password. Now, the layer in which the users, log into office.com, I refer to this as the tenancy level, the organizational level. That is to say, Microsoft 365 subscription is in itself is an ecosystem. All right. So when you have an ecosystem, that is the core of every single endpoint of the tenancy you want to go to or the subscription you want to use. So what it means is that the when they subscribe, all right, the Microsoft 365 becomes the core. Then, depending on the technology or the application that you have enabled for your users in your organization, they then migrate to a different level. Now, for example, which is SharePoint I want to use for this explanation, when users log in by default to Office.com, it's expected that they should navigate to SharePoint start page. So the SharePoint start page basically is or becomes another ecosystem. And by this ecosystem, it simply means that that is where they can create a SharePoint site. You see, you cannot access the creation of a SharePoint site from the organization level. You have to, from the organization level, migrate or navigate rather to the SharePoint start page as a user. Then you create a SharePoint site, whether it's a team site template or a communication site template, basically. And then you are no longer on the SharePoint start page. You have now navigated to what we call the site level. In the site is made up of different assets. We call it site assets or site components, such as one of those components are libraries. So you have default libraries such as document library or list or applications or pages. And when you navigate to the library, you're no longer on the site level. It now means that you're on the library level. You following? In the library, we can create folders, we can create files. You're no longer on the library level when you create a folder. Now you are on the folder level. Inside the folder, we can create files. Is that correct? Yes. So we are no longer on the folder level when we create files inside the folder. It means that we are shifted from the folder level of hierarchy to the file level. The file level is the last, basically, and it simply means that if we want to look at it from the bottom up, we I would say that the file cannot be in isolation. It has to exist inside a folder or a library, because we can create a file in a library without putting it inside a folder. We also say that you cannot have a folder in isolation. It must come through the library. All right, so it means that the library becomes the parent of the folder. The file becomes the child of the folder, depending on if we create a file inside a folder. Since the library cannot be in isolation of itself, it has to come through or exist from a parent, which is called the SharePoint site level. The SharePoint site level can never even be in existence or being talked about if we don't have access to the SharePoint stat page. The SharePoint stat page would never even happen if we don't have a license to log into Office.com. So you see what I mean by hierarchy model, and this hierarchy model is way deeper than how I just even explained it. As when you now go into the SharePoint site, whoever creates a SharePoint site becomes the site owner. And then we control a lot of things on that particular SharePoint site. All right, so please note that this is also very true of OneDrive for Business, meaning when a user logs into Office.com and navigates to SharePoint through the SharePoint start page, the same user can navigate to the OneDrive for Business. There are two types of OneDrive, guys. So we have the OneDrive that is inbuilt. We call it the OneDrive in-app. And we have the OneDrive for Business that comes with the Microsoft 365 subscription you have done. Okay. So I hope I hope you're learning and picking one or two things from my explanation. All right. Okay. So all right. What we have here is my tenant. And on my tenant, I'm logged in as the global admin. I've logged into the SharePoint pardon me, to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and then I'm currently showing you the licenses that are on this tenant that I'm subscribed to. This is my test tenant, is a demo tenant, guys. So it comes with this particular license for a period of 90 days, after which I would have to either upgrade to a paid, to a paid production uh, um, subscription, guys. So I have E5, Microsoft E5 and Office 365 E3. And I also have Microsoft Power Automate. So here, basically, right, what I want to show you is I also want I want to just show you that, okay, so we have this, and when the user logs in here, for example, to office.com, so let me switch to a user so that it will make sense. Okay, so I've switched to a user. This user is called Deborah. All right, so when the user logs into office.com, basically, this user can access the SharePoint stat page. So from the SharePoint stat page, the user can create a site by clicking on the Create Site button and choose from these two templates, whether it's a team site or a communication site, guys. What's the difference? I always ask. So the communication site is used for a broad audience, engaging dozens of people. All right, so you don't really have much content there. It's basically used as the intranet landing page for your organization. All right. Now the team site, on the other hand, can also be used and customized that way as well. So it's not because of the name, it's just because it's just based on the functionality of what you want to do. So the team site allows for more private collaboration within teams. So we can easily use that to create teams, all right, and or rather create sites dedicated to specific teams. Okay. So when you create a site, I've created a site. So I'm not gonna create. Make sure you want to close the button. Yes. So I've created a site now on this particular SharePoint site, SharePoint stat page. What this user sees is by default, which means this user can't see the sites that they are collaborating on if they are following that particular site. So, okay, all right. So let me search for one site. All right. So I'll open the site. Now, when I go to the site, which is loading, I'm no longer on the SharePoint stat page, right? Which is the hierarchy, guys. So let me tell you what I mean. So exactly. So I'm now on the site level, physically. All right. And if I go to the document library, you can immediately see that I'm no longer on the site, but I am on the document library, as you can see. Okay, go to another site. So it applies for basically all. Okay, this is the site I'm looking for. Okay, so now if I go to site content, I can see the different framework or structure that makes this site what it is. So you can see that I have a document library called HRDoc, and I have another document library called Documents. It is not a document library because of this name called document. It is a document library because of the function and the type of that data. Okay, and then I also have list here, as you can see, employee onboarding. I just created these guys for my own testing and troubleshooting and using to just explain to clients. All right, and and make for better understanding. Okay, so if you go into, let's say, this particular library, you're no longer on the site level, you are now on the library level. And I have a folder here called contractors. And if I go into the folder, I can create a file. I can create file here. And then what happens immediately is that if I open the file, I am no longer on the folder level. Okay? Yes. So this is showing that this item is checked out. Um, and what does this mean? Is that um, the person who created it has checked it out so that other people who have access to the library folder or file would not be able to edit at the same time. That's what this does. Okay, so you can go and check it out. All right, all right. So again, just a quick summary of what we learned today about the five key things to know. All right, about Microsoft 365, license driven, third party integration, security and compliance, hybrid integration, hierarchy model. I'm going to break all this down in subsequent videos, guys. So please do give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share this video. All right, love for the love, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate staying to the end. Please do click on the notifications above to watch the other videos I've posted that teaches you how to activate custom scripting, all right, on the site, and also how to save at least a site and a document library as a template.